What are you wearing? You look like a prostitute.
Sorry, but Bruce insisted that I wear this outfit today.
How dare you lie to me like that? My son would never want his future wife to dress like a skank, so not only are you lazy, but you're also a liar as well.
Hi there, my name is Sarah, and I am a very successful business owner, although it took a lot of effort to become one, and there were quite a few setbacks along the way as well. You see, when I first graduated from college, my only hopes were to become an accountant. I did have a dream of owning my own company one day, but I didn't think that I had enough money to do so. But I always hoped that maybe one day, that if I worked hard enough that I could make it a reality. Well, I tried my best to find a job, but no matter how many resumes that I put out into the world, no one was willing to hire me. It felt so weird, but no one would hire me without having experience. But at the same time, no one wanted to hire me so that I could earn some experience. I was just about to settle for literally any job at all, including working for a fast food restaurant when I applied to a small company by the name of Jacoby Incorporated. I honestly didn't know a thing about the company, and I also didn't care because I was just so desperate to find something. Literally any job would do at that point. Luckily, the man that interviewed me told me that I didn't need any experience at all, and that he would love to hire me as the company accountant. I was blown away and instantly accepted the offer. It didn't hurt that he was incredibly handsome and really seemed like a nice guy. It turned out that his name was Bruce, and after a few weeks working at the company, I found out that he was the son of the owner of the company, which was his mother. The more that I worked alongside Bruce, the more I began to like him, and when he asked me out one day, I couldn't help but say yes. That one date turned into a serious relationship, and before I knew it, we were engaged. Until we were engaged, his mother never really interacted with me, but once we were, things changed drastically.
Sarah, now that you are engaged to my son, I am going to need you to increase the amount of work and dedication that you have for the company. Just like me and my son, you will need to put forth a good image.
Okay. Well, what kinds of things do you need me to do?
Well, you need to start putting in more hours to start with. You can't be lazy anymore, and you need to dress better too. No more wearing cheap rags like you have been, and maybe put some makeup on.
I had no idea what she was talking about as I put makeup on every day. As irritating as she was, though, I knew that one day that Bruce would inherit the company and that I wouldn't have to put up her nonsense forever. And so I stopped working 8-hour days and began to work 12-hour days instead, and even started working every Saturday as well. My duties began to be more than just accounting. I had to do that as well, but suddenly I was also doing the purchasing, the scheduling, and I even had to take over the human resources department. Even though it was a lot, I kind of liked the money that I was making, but the hours were exhausting. I even tried to go and talk to Bruce about it. Hey Bruce, honey, I'm kind of worried that I won't be able to keep up this level of work forever.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm barely getting enough sleep right now, and even when I'm not at the office. I still am doing paperwork, and I have no time to do anything like clean the house.
Well, I'm sorry that you can't keep up with my family, but that's what it takes to be in our family. You need to stop being lazy and put in the effort. Do you honestly think that my mother and I don't work just as hard? Are you saying that we're lazy?
No, I'm not saying that you're lazy. I'm just saying that I'm burning out. I had a miscarriage due to so much work and stress. Don't that mean anything to you?
I don't care. If my family was lazy, we won't have such a company now.
I was worried about how Bruce reacted. It almost seemed like his personality was beginning to flip and change right before my very eyes. He even began to demand that I dress a certain way that I wasn't comfortable with. I had always dressed very modestly, and he began to insist that I dress provocatively in very revealing outfits. Between his odd demands and his mother constantly increasing the amount of work that she expected me to do, I was nearly at the end of my rope. Oddly enough, while Bruce wanted me to dress in skimpy outfits, his mother used it to attack me.
What are you wearing? You look like a prostitute.
Sorry, but Bruce insisted that I wear this outfit today.
How dare you lie to me like that? My son would never want his future wife to dress like a skank, so not only are you lazy, but you're also a liar as well.
It was so incredibly hard for me to bite my tongue, and as she was insulting me, she accidentally dropped her coffee.
And now look what you made me do. Clean that up right now. I don't even know why my son is with someone like you.
I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised. Reluctantly, I got down on my hands and knees and began cleaning up the spilled coffee. It was degrading, but what made it so much worse was that once I was on the ground cleaning up the mess, I felt her foot on my back suddenly. She shoved me with her foot, and suddenly my face was shoved into the hot liquid. I gasped as I felt my face collide with the floor. It took all of my self-control to not stand up and slap her. The next day, I went and tried to talk to Bruce again, hoping that I would be able to figure something out. Bruce, your mother assaulted me and called me a slut.
Well, she must have had a good reason. Maybe you shouldn't dress like one then.
Are you serious? You told me to dress like this? And no, she did not have a good reason to shove my face into the floor. Why are you defending her like this?
Probably because you've shown me that you aren't worth defending. I mean, you're constantly complaining about having to work and how mean my mother is. Why would I defend you?
But I'm your fiancé. Bruce, choose your next words carefully.
Oh, please, just stop being a lazy skank. It's that simple.
I saw red. In one swift movement, I pulled the engagement off my finger and threw it in his face and then left. The next day, I wrote up an email explaining that I would not be giving my 2-week notice as I felt that it wasn't deserved. Not only was my engagement over and done with, but I quit working for them as well. I was terrified as once again I was without a job and I had no idea what I was going to do. Thankfully, I did have a lot of money saved up from all those hours that I was working, but that would only last for so long. However, a week after I quit, some of the former clients from Bruce's company continued calling me. As it turned out, they enjoyed working with me, more so than they enjoyed working with my former company. Knowing this, I began to wonder if I could just steal Bruce's clients. After all, I was doing most of the work to begin with. And so I took a chance and got a loan from the bank to start up my own company. It took a lot of work to hire all the staff that I needed to make a startup company, but thankfully, while working for Bruce and his mother, I had made a lot of contacts that made it possible to get the loans I needed as well as the clients I needed to pay the bills. The year after I quit working for Bruce and his mother was hectic and very nerve-wracking, but it didn't take long to see the signs that things would work out. As the year went on, I became more established as a reliable alternative to their company. As it turned out, I wasn't the only one that viewed Bruce's mother as abrasive and annoying. It was a very scary first year, but I kept at it, and I turned out to be completely worth it. As the first year ended, I had established a large clientele, many of which were clients of Jacoby Incorporated, but had stopped working with them as they preferred to work with my company. However, those were only the first clients, and word of mouth began to spread that I was not only far more approachable than Bruce and his mother, but that I did a better and more thorough job as well. As a result, I was forced to start hiring more staff to accommodate all the additional work that was coming my way. It was around that time, though, that Bruce's mother passed away. Apparently, she had developed a brain tumor, and the disease spread quickly, and she passed away. Without her, Bruce was lost, and he began to make poor decisions for the company. So many, in fact, that Jacoby Incorporated was on the verge of bankruptcy. Once I heard that, I made an offer to buy Jacoby Incorporated from Bruce at a fraction of what the company was actually worth and was completely surprised when Bruce accepted the offer. As it turned out, he was struggling to pay his bills as the company was hemorrhaging money both from losing so many clients as I scooped them up, but also because Bruce had never actually learned how to run a company. With the stroke of a pen, Jacoby Incorporated no longer existed, and all of Bruce's former employees now worked for me. It was strangely cathartic to know that Bruce's company now belonged to me, and that his mother was probably turning over in her grave knowing that he failed the company that she had created. Later on, I found out that Bruce had never actually recovered. He had taken the money that I had given him for Jacoby Incorporated and had wasted it gambling, and as far as I know, he was living on the streets as he had to sell his home and belongings to cover his debts. Part of me felt bad for him, but only a very small part of me. So now I own my own company, and I am even engaged once again, although this time, it's to a much better caliber of man. Thomas is a dentist, and while he supports me and my company, he is also happy to keep our companies separate and often encourages me to take time off to just spend some downtime, relaxing and recharging my social and emotional batteries. He is the best thing that could ever happen to me.